This is Denzel Curry. You're now watching my interview on Hot New Hip Hop, Zeltron 6 Billion.
Just did this Zane Lowe interview, and there you were just saying that you worked on it backwards. Like, what is it? So what do you mean? You did the last section first, and okay.
And then the first section last.
But when you started working on it, did you know it was going to be divided into 3 acts? And
no.
Okay. So how did that happen? Like, how did that happen in the process? Like,
well, the original blueprint for Taboo, it was gonna be just a dark ass album, right? It was just gonna be super dark, super turned up, super black, super bleak, and that's what it was going to be at first. But I was going to alienate a lot of people if I would have did that and would have been stuck with the same fan base, and it would have probably sounded like another Imperial. So that's
literally,
why,
I was going to say, like, that's what people would have expected, like a lot of dark bangers. It would have been pretty standard.
It would have been similar to Imperial.
Yeah.
And it would have probably kept me stagnant if I would have kept it that way.
Yeah, okay, so, because that's what I was like, it's really interesting that, like, the lighter section, it's just like unexpected from you, like just the softer songs. Like, what spurred that vibe? Like, how did you get into that area or that mindset with the...
When everything was going good in my life, and then, just certain things just popped up, when you're having a good day, it's just like certain things happen, And when I was working on Black Balloons 1, at first I didn't like the beat, and I was like, nah, because like usually when I get upset about something, I write, if I'm not ranting on Twitter or some stupid shit like that. But I was just writing one day, and then I wasn't messing with the beat. I didn't like how the beat sounded at first, and I had the hook already down and stuff, and then the verse I wasn't really messing with it like that. And then I was thinking about the song, I was like, I don't like it. So they redid the beat, and I was like, oh, this is the vibe I need. And then I just started like just writing to it, and then that's how it came about with Black Balloons. And then Cash Maniac we did when I was working on the dark part of the album, like working, and that song just came out just because, like, the way the beat sounded, it sounded like some old Houston shit. So that's how that came about.
Who did Black Balloons? Who was the producer?
Fanatic Zach and Mickey DeGrand.
You were just saying, like, you were in a better place. Like, how long have you been working on this, and when did you start to get into like that happier place that you were able to create light?
A year and a half.
A year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was working on this album for like a year and a half. Because it was right after Imperial, but I was on tour, so I couldn't really do anything. I couldn't go on tour, and I wasn't really messing with anything. I didn't like anything at that moment. I was just like treating everything like whatever, but like that was like an opportunity. I was watching opportunities pass by as being in that, because I was in such a dark place with dealing with everything and dealing with issues with relationships, dealing with just living situations, how I was feeling, just how my career was going, family issues, all of that spawned into one thing, and I was just working there from there. And then when I moved to Cali, that's when I got focused.
And created light?
Yeah. I mean, the light part didn't come until we was wrapping up the album.
Okay. So that's what I mean. Like, how recent was that?
That was like pretty recent. Like, it was actually the beginning of this year. Actually.
Do you find the songs, like, do all the songs, I guess, do they follow, is there an overall narrative for you on Light, on that section specifically? Like, is there a storyline there that you... Yeah? What would you describe the narrative or the storyline?
It was basically about, the first part, it was basically how I treated everything, how, like, with money coming in, like, I got all these females and, like, just everything in life, like, everything's going smoothly, but, it's only brief at that moment. It's like, oh yeah, this money and everything's supposed to make you happy, but it's not. Because I didn't grow up materialistic, and that's what like really spurred the like light part, because when I was very materialistic, that's what was driving me. And then that's when it goes into the gray part. The gray part shows like the after effects of it, of just not caring. And that's how it was before, when I was just not caring.
You start off light with Taboo, and like, I mean, I'm just like, based off what I heard on the lyrics, you say, welcome to the darker side of Taboo?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's like, it's a weird, like, because you're saying like, welcome to the darker side of Taboo, but the song is so light. Like, it doesn't, like, what does that mean? Or
welcome to the darker side of Taboo, Like,
Are you personifying Taboo in that song, like as a person, or what? No,
it's whatever you want it to be. Taboo is everything.
Because like at one point I was like, I don't know if you're talking about Taboo as though it's a female, or if I just like didn't interpret that.
It's just like I'm talking to someone, whoever Taboo is. It could be a girl.
Okay.
It could be anything, you know.
Okay. There's a few lyrics on there, like, I knew I wasn't normal since the age of 9. I heard you were molested at the age of 5. You loving me is forbidden, loving you back is a crime. Like, these are all kind of like taboo subjects in a way. Is that like the idea? Or like, what did you want to relate with that song?
I mean, people that been hurt, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I was trying to connect with people, because there's a lot of people that do talk about, like, with the molested topic. And most of this happens when you're like mad young. You know, and it happens to females and it happens to males. And I watch people either go crazy from it or you convert that pain into power and become some big entity or somebody stronger from it, you know? And like, I just wanted to talk to people that like been hurt in that way, because everybody's been somewhat taken advantage of in some way. It doesn't even have to be sexual. I use it as a metaphor and a literal sense.
I mean, it's really interesting. Like, this is a topic or a theme that I feel like is like throughout that I'm gonna like ask you about again, but just like dichotomy, like the bipolar aspect of like the album and of like you, like the personality, like Denzel Curry versus like Zeltron and all that stuff. Like, I find, So even like with how you start out the album with Taboo, it's like the song is so light, but like you're talking about all this dark stuff. It's like, you know, I don't know.
It's supposed to sound like, it's supposed to sound okay, because it's just like that assurance that everything will be fine. Okay. Everything will be fine eventually. You only have to go through brief moments of darkness and brief moments of happiness, but everything's going to be fine. As long as you could live your life and like know that there's going to be another day and it's going to be all right.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you talk about, like just in Gray, just in terms of like karma and like things coming back around. Like things go bad and then they go good, and then like it's like a circle. It's just the circle of life.
Yeah.
So just like ending the act 1 with Sumo. So like you kind of like like all the Taboo, Black Balloons, Cash Maniac, they're all kind of like lighter, but then you end it like, so we're getting prepared for like a more aggressive section, I feel like, with Sumo.
Yeah.
It's like you're not the Cash Maniac yet, but then when Sumo happens, you're like, okay, now you're a maniac.
Like, I got the money, material, cars, clothes, hoes, everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what it was supposed to be like, you know? Sumo was just an exaggeration of what everybody talks about, like, you know?
Okay,
pocket too big, they sumo, you know?
The whole thing about money, like what you're saying, like you didn't grow up materialistic. So just moving on into Act 2, into Gray.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like jumping back and forth, but this like kind of ties into it. So like on Switch It Up, like at the end of the day, like you're just saying like you still want to get money, you still want to make money. But like you said, like I've never, in terms of like what I've heard your music and stuff, I've never associated you with like money or like being materialistic.
Exactly.
So like how important is money to you now? Like is that
it's not really important though.
Okay.
I just know like it's basically when it comes down to money, you know, you just gotta use it responsibly. You just gotta use it the right way, you know? It's either to better yourself or like use it to to shine on others, you know? It's your choice on what you're gonna do with that money. You're gonna get it.
Like
regardless.
be selfish with it or just
or use it to benefit everyone.
In terms of Gray, so like what do you think of or what do you associate with when you think of Gray? Like the
Gray
color,
is like,
the imagery?
Gray is just like the reality of things, like everything that's real, you know? That's why it's longer than the black part and the white part. It has 5 tracks instead of 4, you know? Because the Gray part, it just shows like, okay, you hear Super Saiyan Superman and I'm flexing hard, you know what I'm saying? After coming from sumo and flexing and shit. And then you got Switch It Up, which just in an instant just switch up the whole mood of everything. And it shows you like how your true friends will literally pull a gun out on you to show you like, nigga, I don't give a fuck who you is, bro. I knew you since you was this tall, you feel me? You ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna try me in no way, you feel me? I ain't your little buddies or whatever. And then when you hear the second verse, I'm gonna Switch It Up, the character realized like when he's not high or not sedated, he realized what's really going on around him. So it's like his wake up call. That was like, Switch It Up was like a wake up call of what's going on around him or around me per se, because that was a true story.
Yeah, that definitely, Gray definitely seemed like the most important section of like
It is.
And like two songs specifically, Switch It Up and Siren, seemed like the heaviest but like most impactful like songs. You get a sense of like paranoia just with the production, like it's so spooky. And your first verse, like you use like a very like theatrical flow, like it's like off, you know, it's like,
Yeah, like the to be or not to be.
Yeah, like it's so, and it kind of, it brings back like the imagery from Clout Cobain music video almost, and like your album cover, you know, because like you feel like you're in the circus, like you're like, what is going on? Like, is this real? Is this like, I don't know. Did you think about that at all?
Nah, not really. I was just thinking about like, you know, when you think about stories and like when it comes down to storytelling and stuff like that, and the way I construct my albums, and I'm really into Shakespeare and stuff like that. Like I read Othello, like Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet. Like I read most of that stuff. So to be or not to be, ham and I'm lit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I go ham and I'm lit. You feel me? And I just put it together. And I just wanted to put that analogy on it. And then as it goes on, that's when you tell the story of like your hero's journey.
There's a couple, like in the first verse, you say, blame this on the pain in Florida, bipolar vibe over. So that was like the first time that I think I heard the word bipolar, but like after I heard you say that, it kind of just like became like a theme that I kind of picked up on, like just with the songs in general. What did you mean by that? Or like what's your association with bipolar, like with that?
You know, change brings disorder, blaming this for the pain in Florida. Like, you know, you're blaming other people for like what you're going through. Like when you see people who be like, oh, you're the reason this happened. You're like, bro, you make your own choices. I didn't make them choices for you. You know what I'm saying? And it just causes people like, that's how people switch up on you. So when you think of that, you think about a bipolar disorder, because like people who has this complex and it has everything, and like, when you like bipolar, flip-floppy.
Yeah,
definitely.
That was something like that's basically it. Like you had, you know, your homie pull a gun on you, like people just flip-flopping from.
Yeah.
But in the end, I feel like it all goes back to like karma too. Like things will come back around. So like, you know, you flip-flop from the good to the bad, but it's gonna, I don't know, it's gonna come back around.
Like basically, it did come back around, because the person who I thought wasn't my friend was my friend the whole time, and the people who I thought were my friends were only using me, and that's how it came back around.
You say like, I got new homies, I mean, I'm using the word homies, got new homies telling these new homies I don't fuck with my brother.
I'm glad you used the word homie, because I'm glad you used that term.
They only know Denzel Curry, but they don't know
Denzel.
They don't really know Denzel. They only ride the wave and jump when the ship don't sail. Like that's, I mean, that also kind of like has to do with the parent.
Yeah, everybody want to ride waves, then jump when your shit don't sell. You get me? Like when you ain't like selling records, or when you ain't doing whatever for them, or when you ain't buying this like stuff that's for sale or whatever, like, bruh, they'll leave and they're gonna leech on to the next person who's doing that.
But why do you end it like at the end of the day, like you still want to get money? Like why is that I feel like that's kind of how the song ends. Isn't that how?
Nah, it's not. Nah, it's just like, I'm gonna get money by any means. It's just like, yo, I'm still like, basically like, that nigga nice, that nigga mean, switch it up. That nigga raw, that nigga green. Like when you say raw, like, yeah, he's good, but green in Florida to me, that nigga flawed. He fucked up. That nigga lost. He in the lead, switch it up. Like, oh yeah, he a lost ass nigga. But when he start winning, oh, he's winning, yeah. And then switch it up. I'm gonna get money by any means, run it up. Throughout all that bullshit, I'm gonna still do what I gotta do to make sure I live. I don't mean it as getting money as in a materialistic way. I mean it as, I'm gonna get money, but that's not gonna change me or the perception of people think of me.
That like, even just like switch it up, like what you were just saying, like on the hook, like that can be fans, friends, foes. Like your fans can switch on you just because they think like, oh, now he's too famous.
I see it every day.
Yeah, he's too famous.
There was one fan that was like, oh, why you don't go back to the Raider Clan for all your shit sucks? And I'm just like, bitch, if you don't like me, move.
Yeah, that's the bipolar shit. Okay, so then from there you go, Mad I Got It. And I thought that song, there's only one thing I wanted to like mention in that song that I just thought was interesting. Again, it has to do with like things coming full circle. In the end of the song, you're mad that someone else got it. Like you kind of.
Nah, I wrote that in a different perspective from somebody who doesn't have anything. You know what I'm saying? Hate the government, capital punishment. I keep a heat on my hill, gonna need the government. You know what I'm saying? Because the government don't do nothing for like people that's like live in low income housings and stuff like that and doesn't have a job and been in jail several times. You know, I'm on some other shit. Mind is twisted. I wear this mask every day, standing empty, like masking your feelings, masking your emotions. Or you could use a literal mask so you could rob somebody. You get what I'm saying? Realistic views are pessimistic blues I sing along to got me on my crip shit. You mean that he's sad, he's melancholy. That's why I use blues as a term, and I use it in ways they understand. Like, you know, people be like, whole lot of gang shit, gangs, crips, everything. Like, most people that be on that, you know what I'm saying, be a part of a little collective or a group so they could be able to, like, try to get funds or find a sense of family. Get me? And then lipstick, long kiss from the devil lips. You know what I'm saying? Moonlit, 2 hits from the cannabis. You know what I mean? Like you dancing with the devil. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight from Batman? That was like a sediment to that. And then, you know, 2 hits of the cannabis, you know, you smoking weed, you know what I'm saying, to relieve stress and everything because life is hard. Life gets so hard. And then death knocking at my door, who could it be? Life not sweet like suit with an E. You know, it's a play on words. If you think about suit, spell suit and add an E at the end is sweet. And, you know, sweet, you know, penthouse suite, they don't have nothing. They don't have no luxury. They don't have nothing good in their life, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Try to read me, would it be Stephen King, Big Cheese only bringing me misery? You know, Stephen King wrote Misery, and that's how everything goes along. And then she was a crazy fan that demanded something from, you know, a writer. You get me? Same way these crazy fans demand shit from me. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. Your lyrics are crazy. It was just funny because like on like Sirens, that's the one, yeah, j.i.d.'s on that one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, because that's the one when you're on Zane Lowe where you said like, because I was literally going to ask you what was your reaction to j.i.d.'s verse because it was so crazy. And then like on Zane Lowe, you basically said like I went back and I wrote again.
Yeah,
like
because I only had one verse, and then j.i.d. came, and then I was like, I got to add another one.
Yeah, it's so
Boom.
crazy.
And that's how it happened.
And okay, so then on that song you say, when karma comes back around, don't let me down. Is that like...
It was like me, when I wrote that hook, it was from the perspective of God.
Okay. What does that mean?
The perspective of God is like when shit happens, when these obstacles happens, when shit hit the fan, don't let me down because I know you could be stronger than that.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
That's why I wrote it like that. When the karma comes back around, don't let me down. You know?
And there's a time to stand your ground. Like, when is that? Or like, what is that?
Hey, man. Stand your ground law in Florida.
Yeah.
That's what got,
Yeah.
you know, that's what got George Zimmerman off. But if I was to use my way of standing my ground, if something was to happen to me, they'll send me to jail automatically. Because, as you can see,
Yeah.
I'm not, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that song was like really, was that, it felt like kind of like a protest song in a sense, but like...
Nah, it was just me explaining like my views on like politics, and
Yeah.
that was showing everybody and all my fans like, this is what's really going on. Yeah, I'm gonna give you all this, but I'm gonna still give you them gems and shit. You know?
It felt pretty important. Like, I don't know if this was on purpose, like, but the way that you placed it, like you literally placed it like right in the middle of like the 3, like if, you know, the 3 acts all together, it was like song number 8 out of 13. Like, was that strategic at all? Did you think about where you placed it?
Nah,
Okay.
it was just, well, actually I did. I was just thinking about it sonically, how what would go after the other, you know? And that's how I placed it, you know? And it was thinking about like what I was saying on the last verse, and the last verse of Mad I Got It was then leading up to me talking about the government, like the hate the government, capital punishment shit.
Yeah.
And that's what led into it.
And then you ended like, I could see the devil grinning on
Yeah.
Sirens, which,
because everything is just, it's like it's a playing field right now. Like I feel like it's more than just like political. It's like a spiritual war at the same time. It's a battle between upstairs and downstairs. You know.
Yeah. Genocide, Genesis, like
they say it's a new beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like that. That's also
like ethnic cleansing.
Okay, so j.i.d. sent you his verse. You guys didn't work in person?
Nah. Like I went to his crib and I played him the song with just the last verse on it.
Okay.
And he heard it and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna get it back to you ASAP." And then he did it and he got back to me ASAP, and I was like, whoa. And then I wrote the first verse like several times before I got it right. And then one day I just went to Six Flags. I went to Six Flags, had fun, came back, wrote the verse.
Okay, so moving on to the final section, Act 3. I find in this section you're kind of like, you have like a bit more like confidence, or like you're exuding like, you're kind of like in a, you're just like, you know that you're the best at what you do, you're good at what you do, and it's like, all the other bullshit kind of is like whatever at this point, like industry bullshit.
Yeah,
you know?
it's kind of like fuck that shit. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
like,
that's it. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't give a fuck attitude. You're doing what you do. You're you, kind of.
Yeah, because
that's
you
it.
gotta
like,
realize
being happy with that, or like I don't know, not happy, but like
you gotta realize like when you're in this game, do you at all times. If somebody try to tell you what to do, it's not gonna look good to somebody else. The only thing you could do is do you. Like if they tell you how to do it like this, do it like that, then you're not in control of yourself and you won't be happy. If I'm in control of myself at all times and I can say how I feel and whatever, and you don't like it, fuck you, suck my dick. I don't give a fuck. Leave me alone. That's how I felt writing that part of the album.
Within the lyrics, you were saying like it's been 8 years that you've been in the rap game. Yeah. Do you feel like this is your best project to date?
Yep.
Yeah. 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? How did that happen? Is it just because like? I mean, yeah. Why? Why do you think that?
The versatility, the message, everything still had substance, and the flows were different than what I was doing before.
The flows are so sick. Like, yeah, a lot of cool flows. Okay, so then it starts with the blackest balloon. It's a pretty ominous start, I find, to the section. This one like addresses like trends in the industry. So again, it's like you're separating yourself from like, you're doing what makes you you, but like, it's kind of like with, everybody's zanned out and all that stuff. Like you thought I was lame, but I made a lane. Like, just kind of.
That was like basically saying like everybody that was talking down on me, saying like I fell off or whatever. You thought I was lame, but I made a lane for a lot of these niggas that you like.
Yeah. I thought that was funny because like we did a piece recently that was just like explaining, or like it was a view from one of our writers that like you're leading the current generation by example. Like you're actually, like you're leading, but you're setting an example in the sense that like, you're against all these drugs and you're pretty outspoken about it.
But at the same time, I'm like, if you're an artist and you do that type of shit, to each his own. You know what I mean? And if somebody asks me like, what if the artists want to die? What do you feel like that? Well, I can't save everyone.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of like, you're like, I don't even try to hate, I'm just saying what I ain't, like in the next song, like you're not like
because
trying
I'm
to
not hating the artist.
Yeah.
I don't hate the artist because most of the artists that people would think I'm talking about is probably people I listen to.
Yeah.
But I hear the same narrative every time. Like, switch up the topics, man. Like,
how does the blackest balloon, if it connects, how does it connect to the black balloon, the one in Act 1?
The first one?
Yeah, the first one.
When the black balloon popped, the first one, you gotta hear the second one, but the second one isn't on the album.
I was like, what?
Yeah, don't worry. The second one will come out.
It will come out? Oh,
it
wow.
will come out.
Okay, so they're all connected, I guess, but you can't really fully explain it until...
I can't fully explain it until you hear Black Balloons 2.
Okay, crazy.
The third one is just like, it's just like, okay, this is what's happening, this is how I feel, and this is how people rapping, so I'm gonna just do it like this.
Going on, Perks, we've heard that one. It's been out for a bit. Like, you just kind of touched on it. The one thing that I kind of wanted to ask you, I guess, is like about being a role model, like in the sense that like, no, you don't fuck with that, or how do you...
Me, bro?
Just be you.
It's just like, I don't have to be a role model to no motherfucking body.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything for no one. I choose to do things. It's my choice. Like, I have a responsibility because I choose to take that responsibility. I don't have a responsibility because someone else told me to.
Yeah.
I could be doing what everybody else doing and not give a care in the world, but it's the fact that like kids are listening. You feel me? Like just like Wu-Tang said, Wu-Tang's for the kids. I'm for the kids, bro.
So this one, you like have voices in my head, got too many, which I feel like just brought back that like paranoia feeling.
Yeah, paranoid thoughts and like basically like the whole bipolar thing.
Yeah, it's super crazy the flow on this one, and like, I feel like even so like it starts off like I feel like there's a 3-6 Mafia-ish vibe on the hook, but then like at the end it transitions, like the transition out is like so much lighter, and it's like just it ends on a different note than
exactly.
Yeah, what else can you tell us about that song, or like the idea behind that song?
What can I say? Like, I'm gonna catch you in the moonlight. This is the finale. This is like
leading up to
what's going to end everything.
Yeah, leading up to it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So where I just kill everything. It's just like the quiet before the storm. You know?
And then it's Black Metal Terrorist, which is like
that's the Zeltron anthem.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I feel like that song also has like a dual nature, just because like it slows down and it picks back up like throughout.
Yeah.
So,
because I wanted to make something super chaotic, Like the thing about it was like I wanted the bass. Like if you listen to the bass starts off soft, then it goes harder and harder and harder. Pause. Then it goes harder as the like album goes on, and then once you hit that like final song, I was like, this is the one where I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about shit. It's literally talk about everything that I was talking about in the beginning of the album was just so like, I don't give a fuck. Like this is me showing you I don't give a fuck. Like people won't care about anything. They won't care about you until you actually do something very serious to yourself, to everyone else, to the world, to your music. They won't take you serious unless you do something really serious, like showing it.
Like what do you mean by that? Like just
like people be like, yeah, I'm gonna kill myself, and people
okay.
be like laughing and shit until they actually do it.
Okay.
Then people be like, man, I'm gonna shoot up a school. People will be like, yeah, whatever, da da da, until you actually do it. People won't like be like, oh, I'm gonna make it in rap, and they laugh at you until you actually do it. And people will be like, man, I'm gonna be the best fighter in the world. They'll laugh at you until you actually do it. So that's why I was like, back in the dark and mysterious, which is the dark part. Laughing away till I do something serious. Like, that's my area.
Okay.
Attitude only imperious. Rest of my enemies trapped them insidious. Inside I'm feeling so hideous. Like, I don't like myself. And at that point in my life, I really did not like myself.
Why did you want to end it on that, with that song? Or
to show you where I've been.
Okay.
You know? Like, because when I was starting off the album, I started off making dark shit. And the reason I was making dark shit because I wasn't fucking with anything in life, and I wasn't even fucking with myself to a certain degree. I didn't fuck with no one. Like, I even had odds against my brothers. I had odds against my manager that's sitting on the couch just for telling me something like really small and minuscule. Like, I had odds with everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it just made me like angry. I was just angry, like super angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck everybody, I'll murder you idiots. I am a little perfidious. Yeah. Fuck a civilian, we're not equivalent. Like, that means I was just feeling like I'm higher than everybody. Why is this shit not happening? Why is this not happening? Why is this not happening?
The one thing that it ends, like, it fades into static.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know if there's any thought behind that, but it's, like, spooky. It's almost like what...
It was eerie, right?
Yeah, it was like, did this really happen? Like, what did I just listen to? Like, was it real? I don't know. It's kind of gave it that, like, vibe, I feel like, with that.
The whole vibe was the ending of the album was supposed to be creepy.
Yeah.
It was supposed to feel that way.
Yeah.
The reason why I was supposed to feel that way because like the energy I was projecting on that part of the album was so chaotic and so demonic that I didn't want to feel like that anymore.
No, it was really spooky. Like, it literally left me with that, like, whoa, I don't know, like, was that real? That was it. It was just like, is this,
Usually the albums are flipped. This time I was like, no.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back.
Yeah, it's true. Like, you're spiraling into a darkness.
Because when you hear the ending of the static and you replay the album, you're going to hear that same little static in the beginning. It was in Taboo.
Listen
to the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Then
it creeps in, and then everything goes soft.
Yeah.
Meaning life will go back in cycles once again, and everything will be all good again.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's why I said welcome to the darker side of Taboo. Once you finish the album, because it's going back to the dark side, then it'll go back to light.
That's really crazy.
Go back to the dark side, go back to light. Go back to the dark side, go back to light.
Yeah, I really like that message, like, overall, just that, like, it's cyclical. Like, you might be really deep into bad shit, but then you can also get out of that, and, like, karma will come back and, like, give you something.
Be in your favor again.
Yeah.
But karma's going to affect everyone.